Have you been enjoying the pandemic?
Louis, I love it. I love it. And I have literally barely gotten out of bed for a year.
We're looking at Dingus now. Dingus was paying attention, and then he looks
got
like
bored.
He's conked out.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not a total dickhead pop star that doesn't realise that it has caused a lot of
Death.
panic, death, fear,
Destitution.
financial insecurity for people. But so I did, you know, I donated shit so that I wouldn't feel so guilty about, like, enjoying not having to ever see anybody. Because I do feel guilty about the fact that I'm such a, like, all I want to do is be, like, in bed with my with my dogs.
So basically, for you, it's just been a case of watching a lot of TV.
For me, it's been a case of what I've needed my entire adult life, which was to just put myself into a little burrito and self-care for like 2 or 3 years. That is what I've been doing, and I, you know, with the help of, because it turned out I'm not bipolar, Louis. I have PTSD, complex PTSD, from early trauma. And
No way.
yeah, and other trauma.
So you were
events.
misdiagnosed?
I was. So
What was the PTSD from?
I could tell you. Do you want me to?
Not if you don't want to.
Well, I'll tell you the bits. I'll tell you the bits I'm comfortable
It's
telling
you saying that I can, and I'm like, well, it's up to you.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you the bits I'm comfortable with. So there's some childhood trauma, just because my mum had postpartum depression. My dad
Right.
is a very eccentric person, and he had like an alter ego called Stan, who,
Right, when he got angry,
yeah, he would turn into Stan.
he said, oh, Stan's showing up.
He would say, sorry for Stan's behaviour. And we've had a very good repair recently, which was fantastic. But also was sexually abused at the age of 9. And then what else? Then the boy I lost my virginity to died.
He was knocked over by a hit and run. Did they catch the guy who knocked him over?
They never did. Then I had a neighbour.
In London?
Yep. And at some point he was banging on the door and he said, why don't you want to be friends with me? Why don't you want to be friends with me? And he stepped in front of a train and killed himself. So that was one bad thing. And then I was on my way back from a gig I'd been to at Shepherd's Bush. This group of children run up, smack this guy in the head, and I saw him with blood just coming out of his head like this, and they'd smacked him and he'd fallen onto a guardrail. And I called the police, I called an ambulance, like the ambulance people were telling me what to do, like do this, do that, to try and keep him safe until the ambulance got there. And then I had to go to court to try and identify the kids. And after I testified and they read out my home address in front of the perpetrators, and he just looked at me and he said, "You're next."